Greetings, I'm Father George Harrison, here at Corpus Christi Parish, the place of a designated holy door for this Jubilee year of mercy. Let's talk a little bit about mercy and why Pope Francis has designated this as a Jubilee year of mercy. Mercy is nothing more, nothing less than God's loving response to human suffering. Because when we're alienated from God, we suffer. And we know that alienation happens through sin. God sees us, and he desires to show mercy and restore us to our inheritance. I love what Pope St. John Paul II says about mercy. He says, mercy is God's second name for love. Let's talk a little bit about God's revelation about his mercy. We go to the scriptures, we go to St. Luke's Gospel, and we hear Jesus, the Son of God, telling us the story of the prodigal. The Father is waiting for the prodigal to return. The prodigal has left the Father, taken his inheritance, and he's squandered it with all kinds of sinful and dissolute living. But the Father is waiting with hope in his heart that the prodigal will return and be reconciled, be restored, and be set free. And when the Father sees the Son coming, the Father rushes out to meet him. There's no humiliation. There's no scolding. The Father picks up the prodigal and says, even before the prodigal's confession can be completed, let's celebrate. My son who was lost is now found. That is God's mercy. Brothers and sisters, God continues to invite us to know the depths of his mercy. In 1931, Jesus appeared to a Polish nun named Saint Faustina Kowalska, and he appeared to her exactly as this image is portrayed. This is the risen Lord. And from his side, where the soldier pierced his side with a lance, flowed blood and water. So we have from the side of the risen Lord the rays of love and the rays of mercy. And yes, Jesus said to Faustina, I want you to put my signature underneath the image when it is painted. And my signature is this: Jesus, I trust in you. Yes, brothers and sisters, what is the vessel into which God can pour his unfathomable love and mercy? It is the vessel of trust. He wants us to trust him. And so, brothers and sisters, we know that in the church that Jesus established, the very first sacrament that he institutes after his resurrection is the sacrament of confession, the sacrament of reconciliation. When he breathed on them and said, whose sins you shall forgive, they are forgiven them. And that is why the sacrament in the Catholic Church of reconciliation is a most important sacrament. And that is why here in our church, as you enter into the church and you pass through the door of mercy, the first place that you find yourself is before the confessionals of the church, where Jesus waits in the sacrament. Yes, the priest slips in to give Jesus a voice and a body, but there Jesus waits to cleanse us, to forgive us, to restore us to our baptismal inheritance. And on the other side of the confessionals is this room behind this portrait, which is the chapel of adoration. Jesus' true Eucharistic presence, his real presence in the holy monstrance, is available to any son or daughter, anyone who wishes to come, to spend time with Jesus and to listen to him, to experience his love and mercy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so, brothers and sisters, I think I'll end with an Old Testament quote from the book of Lamentations. This was the story. Jeremiah, the prophet Jeremiah, lived through a terrible ordeal, the exile of the chosen people to Babylon in 586 BC. Yes, they had been unfaithful, and they had abandoned the laws and the commands of God, and they had left him. But when they realized the consequences of separating themselves from God, this is what Jeremiah says in Lamentations 3. The favors of the Lord are not exhausted. They are renewed each morning to anyone who will hope in him. And so, brothers and sisters, the mercy of God awaits any one of us, no matter where we've been. Now, if you are not Catholic, or if you're not ready to celebrate the sacrament of confession, a priest is always available. If you should need to sit down and speak with him about anything whatsoever, any questions that you might have, any hesitations you might have, any doubts you might have, be sure that the door here at Corpus Christi is open and welcome to you. God bless you.